learning. Guys, look who we have with us for today's vlog. Everybody meet Barley. Barley, what do you have to say to everyone? Barley says hi. Let me see if I can tilt you a little bit so we can see him. Originally, this video was meant to be us mood reading for a week. And we had 3 books that we were going to mood read for the week. We did, yes. The books were going to be The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, and very excitingly, When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Yes, this one's got dragons. Does this one smell like you? Yes. We read this book together. Do you remember? However... Look, I don't want to talk about it. Twice a year, I'd say, all my footage just gets corrupted. I have terrible technical difficulties. I don't even know why it randomly happens sometimes. I can't predict it, but I have lost all of the footage from the beginning of the vlog, from when I started that vlog, from when I started reading When the Moon Hatched. And believe me, my When the Moon Hatched reactions were like, I have a lot to say about that book. Anyway, so all that is gone and we are starting the vlog again. Barley's gone to lie down, so I can tilt you back this way. So instead, welcome to today's video, which you already know the title is How Much Can I Read? Or how many books can I read? How many pages can I read? We'll just try and tally whatever we can tally. How much can I read in 48 hours? I'm hoping we're going to get through 3 books, which would be an impressive feat for 48 hours. But I've already got so many things to say. I've already started a couple, so we're already kind of in the swing of things a little bit. So let me tell you where I'm at and let's set the scene for today's video. Starting with The Charlie Method. Guys, I'm so bummed to say this again, but I think I'm going to soft DNF this for a second time. I don't know what to say. Like, I've started it. I think I'm about 10% of the way in now. It's a slow start, which I don't mind. I really do enjoy Elle Kennedy's writing. I do really like the sound of Charlie. She seems like super cool and badass and like a character that I really like. There's something about me knowing that it's a why choose romance. My rom-com, like soulmate loving heart, just like can't get behind it. And that makes me feel like really unaccepting. It's just, I can't tell you guys how much I really, really wanted this book to be like Will and Beckett's love story. And now we've got this like extra chick in there and I was like, this was Will and Beckett's time. I don't know, it just like, maybe it's because they are college students, they're in their early 20s, it's 2 guys and a girl, and I think I can't see how it's not just lust driven. I'm gonna give it another go another time. I think maybe like when I'm on by the pool or I'm on a beach on holiday, pray for me that happens at some point this summer, then maybe this has another shot. But for now, we're softy and having The Charlie Method again because I'm still not ready for it. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, next, The Let Them Theory. We're going to try and get this finished in today's video. We are probably like 20% of the way through. It's really, really fast to read. I honestly haven't invested that much time in reading this since I first picked it up. So I need to pick this back up again. I think we'll get through it relatively quickly, especially if I download the audiobook and we listen to it like a podcast, which everybody says is a really good way to do it because it's kind of written like a podcast and obviously it's non-fiction, so the content from in here is very good for listening to on audio. And for anybody that hasn't seen this book, I feel like it's been absolutely everywhere. But it's a non-fiction book all about how to help you essentially stay in your lane and live your own life and focus on your own path and stop worrying so much about what other people think, what other people do, and let everybody else do their own thing while you focus on you and let go of the weight of having other people's expectations and actions impact you and your own life and your own decisions. I believe that's what it's about. We're still reading it. I'm not really going to become a non-fiction girly, let's be real, but it's nice to mix it up every now and again, and I do really like Mel Robbins, so we're going to give this a go and try and get that finished in the next couple of days. And then, okay, right, just like reset, shake this off. I finished When the Moon Hatched. I finished it yesterday, then proceeded to start editing the clips to find they were all corrupted. I don't want to go back there. Oh my God. Guys, first of all, I really strongly feel like I've been lied to. I went back because I've been avoiding picking this up because of how bad the reviews were, right? I go onto Goodreads when I finish this book and I check the reviews again. And guys, why are the reviews for this book so bad? What is wrong with everyone? Honestly, like, if you are one of those people, like, I am coming for you. This book was so good. Like, what? What is all the hate? Honestly, I was looking on Goodreads and it was like 1 star, 1 star, 2 star. If I could give this 0 stars, I would. I was like, what? Okay, I'm going to come out the gate with, I am going to give this book, I haven't really decided on a rating, 4.75. Yeah, I'm going to give this 4.7. I would say up until 70%, this book was a 5-star read for me. Like, it was fully a 5-star, and then it slowed down a little bit at the end. And there were a couple of tiny moments that I would have changed if I could. And I think a 5-star for me needs to be like, no notes. Like, I wouldn't change a single thing. And there was a couple of moments like right towards the end that I was like, oh, maybe I would have done that a tiny bit differently. But this was stellar. I loved it. The pacing was so good. The world was so complex. It's about a girl you meet called Rave, and she is an assassin with a very murky past. She talks a lot about, or she hints at a lot of loss she's experienced, a lot of suffering she's been through. You don't really understand what it is that's happened to her. And then you have Khan, who is one of the kings of the realms within this kingdom. And you don't really get loads of Khan at the beginning. You really are more following Rave's story. And this is a multi-point of view book, but they're mostly Rave, I would say. They are mostly from her point of view until you get closer towards the end. And then you've got more points of view popping in. A lot of the criticism I saw was that the writing was really flowery and like super pretentious. Sometimes I think people jump on bandwagons, and like when you see one negative comment, like everybody then just feels the same way. And then everybody comments the same negative review, because I feel like that was what was happening a lot, because I feel like I've read a decent amount of books, and there is really nothing pretentious about this writing. I thought the writing was lovely. Yes, it was very descriptive, but not in a way that was hard to understand. I think it really brought to life, you know, I say this all the time, you know, there are some books where you can't really necessarily like picture everything, but you kind of know what's going on. And there are some books that are really vivid and you can really picture every scene. You can picture exactly what's happening in the moment. This felt like watching a movie. This was so vivid to me, and that is definitely because of how descriptive the scenes were and how rich the dialogue was. I loved it. The pacing was fantastic. There's still so much mystery that we don't know. I'm kind of dying that the second book isn't out until next year. I originally picked this up because the second book was meant to be out this autumn, but it's now been pushed back to, I think, February 2026. So frustrating, but I really recommend this. It's fae, it's dragons, it's romantasy, but there's so much plot that the romantasy part kind of comes a little bit later on. Also, the romantasy, can we talk for a minute? I feel like the entire universe wants more yearning in their books, and we're all like, where's the yearning? There's so much insta-love, there's so much lust-filled like romance at the moment in all of these books. Give me yearning, yearning, yearning. The way this man like yearns for her and burns for her, it is no notes. Like it's some of the best yearning I've read. Like I was fully, it was giving like Rhysand vibes of he knows. I can't spoil anything in case you haven't read ACOTAR, but like he knows but she doesn't know, and it breaks his heart. That kind of an energy of he's completely down bad. I'm gonna keep going because no one can stop me, because it's just me and you and no one can interrupt. So I honestly can't stop myself. She's also such a good female main character. She's so not annoying. She's stubborn and she's badass, and the way that she laughs through and like has such a strong sense of humor through truly horrific things that are happening to her, and she literally the definition of like laughs through the pain, and her sense of humor is great, the banter's great, the pacing's great. I love the dragons. The world is basically split into 3 main sections: the burn, the fade, and the shade. And the burn is basically where it's really hot, and it's the dragons are all able to withstand like very high temperatures. They're all kind of flame-based fae and flame and fire-based dragons. Then you've got the fade, where you've got a type of dragon that you've got can travel really well across all kingdoms. And then you've got the shade right at the bottom, which is ice, and it's like the coldest part of the kingdom, and it's very snowy, it's extremely cold, and the dragons are all like ice, cold, kind of beautiful, snowy kind of dragons. And she has an affinity for the cold, but doesn't exactly know why. Khan is the king of the burn, so the very fiery. And then there's that like iconic quote, which I think it's even on the back. He's fire and brimstone, I'm shattered ice. I'll gladly burn beneath him until the world comes crumbling down. Oh, honestly, okay, I'm going to be quiet, but I don't even feel like what I've said, because all I've really done is just like say nothing. But there is so much in this book I just feel like I haven't even touched on, I haven't discussed, I haven't mentioned, but there is so much to it. There is a very like whopping glossary, which I think people always had big issues with. I didn't read the glossary before I went into it. I actually read it at the end and I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what that is, because I kind of spent the last however many pages like learning this entire world. Just, it's so unique. And you are identified by the coloured beads that you have in your ear or on your beard, like you wear the colour of the creator that you speak to, that you have powers for. Okay, I don't know what else to say, because I could just keep going and I'm going to stop because I feel like I've been talking about this one book for like 10 minutes. Guys, I recommend When the Moon Hatched. Anyway, so I have read When the Moon Hatched. I'm halfway through Let Them. We've DNF'd the Charlie Method and we are now starting Abby Jimenez, Say You'll Remember Me. So I've just randomly mood selected what I fancied reading. I wanted to kind of replace the Charlie Method and stick in like the rom-com like region. It's a new release. Also, the Charlie Method is a new release. You get where I'm going. It's kind of like a replacement-ish. I love Abby Jimenez's writing. Just for the Summer and Justin is probably one of my all-time fave book boyfriends ever. I recommend that book so much to anyone that hasn't read it. Go read it. And this is her newest release, Say You'll Remember Me. And I'm so pumped. So we're going to dive into this. I've also heard really good things about the audiobook. So I'm going to try and do what do they call it? Like an immersive read. I'm going to read the book and I'm going to listen to the audiobook. I'm going to dip in and out of both. This is going to be book 1 and book 2 that we're going to try and get through in the next 48 hours. And I fully intend for us to also start a third. So we've got a lot of reading to do. Barley needs to go on a walk in a little bit. So I'm hoping that I can take him out and pop on my audiobook and we'll listen to either Let Them or Say You'll Remember Me so that we can start getting through some books. And anyway, it's not quite the vlog I had planned. We were going to spend the entire week together. We did spend the entire week together. You'll just never see it. And instead, we've got 48 hours of hardcore lock in. Let's read. And I'm so pumped. Okay. Wow. That's enough from me. Shut up, Ellen. Whew. Let's go read some books. I'm doing a load of wedding admin and I'm listening to Say You'll Remember Me. I'm now on chapter 6. Guys, why does this remind me so much of when Cameron and I first started dating? Like, loads of this is like not the same at all. He is like very golden retriever energy and Xavier is like very black cat or whatever. He's very grumpy. Cameron's very sunshine. Anyway, but this is not a spoiler, but it's just like a tiny thing that happens. So fast forward just like 30 seconds if you don't want to know like anything. But it's obviously right at the beginning. It's a very tiny thing. I promise it's not any like plot point. But they're going on a date. It's actually their very first date. And they've just walked in to the place that they're going on their date. And all of his friends are there. Like I haven't listened to any more than that, but it's her point of view chapter. They've just walked in and she's describing like Xavier's face just going like completely stony and being so mad because obviously his friends knew where he was going to be and like they've all pitched up. And I'm obviously now projecting because I literally paused it as soon as I read that because I just started like giggling so much because when Cameron and I first started dating, it was actually our third date and like nothing had really like happened with us yet, if you know what I'm talking about. And it kind of felt like that. Anyway, it felt like a big date. It felt like a big date, our third date. And we went to this place in Elephant and Castle. So much fun. If you're in London, Mercato, and all of his friends, a few of his friends arrived to like, I don't know, be funny, to like just like join the date, because Cameron had been talking about the fact that he was going on another date with me and he really liked me. And anyway, his friends showed up and he was so mad. Like, he was so mad. And I remember he was like, I'm gonna go get a drink, and then he like dragged them all off to the bar, and I kind of like sat at the table by myself while he literally like gave them all a talking to. They didn't care whatsoever. They all like bounded back, and I ended up on a date. I'm now telling you just like the story of my third date with Cameron. And I then basically ended up on a date of like me and all of these guys. And it was actually really great, because it meant I got to know all of his friends. I got to see his dynamic with his friends and what they were all like, and it gave me such a good insight. And at the time, my best friends lived in Elephant and Castle. So I literally texted them and I was like, all of his friends have shown up, because I also was really excited about the date, because we just hit it off like right from our very first date. So I texted my friends being like, all of his friends have just shown up, like, come quick. So then my friends all came, and then it basically ended up being like this big night out of all of his friends, or some of his friends and some of my friends, and the two of us were all kind of like on this one big date, but like him and I didn't even really know each other yet. And it was such a fun night. I'm really hoping, back to the book, I'm really hoping that's where the rest of this goes, and that he's obviously like cross right now, but actually it gives you such a good insight into the other person, and it just makes you see if like your whole lives mesh together. And I honestly think our relationship like wouldn't have moved as quickly as it did if our lives hadn't mixed so early on. But as we were all leaving, I remember his friends like saying to my friends like, oh, I really hope Cameron doesn't fuck this up, so that like we can all stay friends, because this was so much fun. Anyway, I'm like now fully reminiscing. I love it when a book does this, when a book like really makes you feel something, whether it's some emotion that you're like excited to feel one day, or if it makes you feel nostalgic for emotions that you've like felt before and like you're remembering them. Anyway, I'm loving it. I'm also loving the audiobook. The voices are so great. It's done duet, and the voice actor for him is the guy from 90210. Let me show you for any of my girlies that watched 90210 back in the day. Well, not the original 90210. Matt Lanter. You guys might just already know who Matt Lanter is. I don't even need to show you, but I'm just going to show you quickly. This guy, you know this guy from 90210? That's the voice actor. His voice is really good. Okay, other than me gushing about all these flashback memories I'm having, loving the dynamic so far. The vibes are very good with Say You'll Remember Me. Good morning. So I finished Say You'll Remember Me last night, and I'm sad, guys. This book was sad. This book, Abby Jimenez has like done it again, but in like a really different way. I think this is like the most heartbreaking book she's written so far. I need to start a new book like right away, but first of all, let's talk about it. So it's Abby. I loved her writing. It's so wholesome. It is a little bit rom-com-y, like there is some comedy moments in there. But in general, I think this is one of those books where you should definitely read the trigger warnings, because if you are somebody that faces some of the challenges that are talked about like in quite a lot of depth in this book, then it might be quite hard to read. I mean, I found it very hard to read, and I am not suffering with what these characters were suffering with. I don't know. Like, obviously it's a romance, and obviously it is Abby Jimenez, so you do get your happy ending that is built into like your kind of guarantee. But this one felt like, basically it was, I think I've been on such like this high of When the Moon Hatched. I'm in this fantasy universe, the stakes are super high. Of course there's like death and betrayal and torture and suffering, but it's all fantasy and dragons. And I was just in this like otherworldly, pretty much hysteria, to be fair, when I finished When the Moon Hatched. And this has really brought me crashing back down to earth in such a heart-wrenching way. I mean, it's all just like really hard. Like, I think the topics in this book are really tough, and I don't know why they hit me so hard. Well, I suppose it's obvious why they hit me so hard. I guess I just wasn't expecting this. I haven't seen anybody else talk about how just like rough this love story is. And then I think when I was reading it for so much of the book, I thought, actually, this is a 5-star. This is incredible. I'm completely sucked in. I'm consumed by this. I have to know what happens. I'm rooting for them. So, like, you are rooting for them so hard. They're both such good people, and you just really want the best for them. But I can't give this book 5 stars because my criticism of the book, I'm not obviously criticizing the fact that it's heavy. Like, that's fine. But my criticism of the book is the epilogue. I think after how much we all suffered getting to the end of this book, I really needed an epilogue that was like 5 years in the future, and that was like a long way down the line, and we could really see how they've kind of come out the other side of a long period of suffering. And sorry, my battery died. I don't know. I just feel like we deserve to see their characters like truly with it all behind them. But I guess the nature of real life problems is that they don't vanish, and the things they were suffering with, that doesn't ever go away. So it was a lovely story. I do really recommend it. If you want a rom-com that still has like a little bit of comedy in there, but hits a little bit harder and isn't just like totally kind of fluffy, lust-filled stuff. This also, I'd say, is closed door. There's some spice that's kind of when they're building up to it. That's a little bit descriptive, but if you want a book that's like not like detailed sex scenes, then this is also a really good one. It was great. It was really good. I don't know what to give it. Maybe 4.5. I did cry at the end. Like, I fully cried at the end. Yeah, I guess I just feel a bit greedy for them. I feel like it is fiction. It is a story. So couldn't we have just given them just something like amazing to happen to them after so much? I just feel like they deserved something really good. But I guess the point of the book is that the thing that's really good in their lives like is each other. But I don't know. Can you please read it so we can talk about it? And let me know if you have already read it and what you thought of it, and if it hit you as hard as for some strange reason it's hitting me. And actually, let me just read you. Like, I did so much underlining, but I didn't tab it. So I'm now going to have to try and go through and find all the key bits that I underlined. Because honestly, Xavier is like, he is the man. Like, check this out. I feel like as a woman, we can relate to this so much. But the protective thing, that was my currency. I didn't get to shut my brain off very often. Most women don't. The constant situational awareness that we have to practice is exhausting. But Xavier made me feel like I could mentally check out. I could just be here bopping around, enjoying being outside and surrounded by these eccentric weirdos, and not have to worry about how safe I was because he wouldn't let anything happen to me. I couldn't remember the last time I felt like that with someone. Definitely with my dad, but not really with the men I dated. Not that they made me feel unsafe, but Xavier made me feel like the second I was with him, I entered into his care. I trusted him, which is just so nice. Like, he basically does this thing where I can't go back and read out the whole page. We'll be here for ages. But he basically pulls her to the other side so that he puts his body in between some like sketchy people on the street. And so he's like between them and her. And then she says that little bit and just such a dream. Okay, wait, more. This is like that classic movie quote from, what movie is it actually from? I can't remember. It's not, it's complicated. Anyway, she gazed at me. There is nothing more beautiful than being a witness to someone's life, to know them inside and out and to be with them through everything, share the memories. Memories are everything, and I want that. I want someone who knows everything there is to know about me, and I want to know everything about them. I want to be able to say one out of context comment to someone, and they just get what it means, and they laugh. And it's just some stupid joke from like 11 years ago that means nothing to anybody else. Hey, bud, do you want to come read some nice lines from a love story with me? Yeah, do ya? Yeah, I love ya. I love you like the people love each other in this book. More than anything ever. Yeah. Mwah. Hi. Hi. Okay, sorry, we were distracted by Barley Loves for just a second. Anyway, I feel like I've underlined so much. Also, I should definitely say that Just for the Summer was 100% for the acts of service and like quality time girlies. This is the gifts girlies. Like this, if your love language is gifts, Xavier is your man. And it is so sweet. And I think he really sheds a light on what the gifts love language like actually is. And it's not about the lavish stuff. It's things like he knows that she loves oranges from the fruit in a sangria. So like when they're having sangria, he gives her the orange from his drink and like gives it to her and puts it in hers. Every single time he sees her, he always brings her something really small. Anyway, I could go on and on. Also, he's a vet, so he loves animals, and his whole thing is how kind and caring he is with his animals as well. Oh, but he's kind of got this grumpy thing going on. So he's not like a complete, like he's not a pushover or anything. He's so dreamy. You can tell like I'm not as like animatedly. I didn't have like a great time because it was so sad, but I was completely gripped and I loved the story and I would definitely recommend it. So anyway, that is Say You'll Remember Me, Abby Jimenez, the new release, and I really loved it. But I do need something else to read now because I feel like it's kind of knocked the wind out of my sails a little bit. It brought me crashing down to earth in quite a hardcore way after When the Moon Hatched. But I've also just finished like an 800-page pretty intense fantasy and then read Say You'll Remember Me in literally a day the next day. So we really are on such a roll. I want to keep it going. I want to see if we can do it again. I know I'm being so ambitious. Look out for how many books we're going to read in May. We're on such a roll. I'm going to see if I can read another whole book today. Let's see if we can manage it. I have picked 2 books off the TBR shelf. So I've picked ones that are relatively short and that I think will pick me back up again off the floor. So we have 2 options. One, Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is the second in the Natural series. It is YA, mystery, thriller, crime. I don't know exactly how you categorize it, but it's basically teenagers that are hired by the FBI to live all in this one house and solve cold cases. I loved The Naturals. I think I gave it 5 stars. It was so good and didn't feel like childish at all, even though it's YA. Like I was properly like spooked hunting this murderer. The back says friendship, romance, serial killers, the naturals are on the case. I've got Killer Instinct, or we have the rom-commers by Catherine Center, because all of the reviews and everything that I've read is that this is just, I mean, literally it says on the back, a big hit of dopamine and like prepare to laugh and swoon and grin your pants off, and everything about it just says that it's like very fun, very lighthearted. There's not much. I think one of the reviews said something like, there's not a lot of angst or stress or basically anything bad. And I'm like, cool, this is me. This is me, a non-stressful book. I don't know how to choose. So if he is willing to wake up from his nap, I think I'm going to make Barley choose. I think we're going to get Barley to choose our book. Okay, Cameron's downstairs, so we're going to be choosing our book up here. Here is our star of the show. I don't know if I ever even really introduced Barley. If I didn't, I'm so sorry. For those of you that haven't ever met him before, this is Barley. He's actually my family dog, but like really I think of him as my dog. I chose him, I found him, I went and picked him up, but then I moved out of home. So he lives with my parents and I love him so much. I wish he could live with us, but I think my dad is so obsessed with him that I could never. Anyway, he's the best thing in the entire world and he's going to pick us a book. I've got these little treats for him, one on each. I think I'm going to put a doggy treat on top of each book. Let's turn them over. So we're going to have one little treat on top of Killer Instinct. Oh, can you tell there's treats? And a treat on top of the rom-commers. Okay, Barley, sit. You're going to be involved. Look, there's treats here. Come on then. Sit. Okay, right, you've got 2 choices. And I reckon we just like move them around. Both look pretty good, huh? Little treat on this one, little treat on this one, little treat on this one, little treat on this one. Okay, I think I'm just going to put them both like right next to each other as much as I can, right in the center between his paws, so it's like an even split. Paw. Good boy. Other paw. Good boy. Hopefully you guys can see it okay. This is it. Go on then. Oh, he chose the wrong commas. Good boy. He hasn't even eaten the Killer Instinct one yet. Have you even eaten the rom-coms? Yeah, you've eaten the rom-coms one. Look, there's one more. He's so blind. Yeah. Good job, buddy. Okay, Barley, what do you have to say to the people? He chose. Okay, am I slightly disappointed we're not reading Killer Instinct? A little, but maybe Barley like knows what's good for me and like knows what's good for my heart. And he says, you need some like joyful rom-com. And you're like, do you just know me really well? Oh, itchy scratchy. Do you just know me really well? You know I'm a rom-com loving girly. Yeah. You did a great job. You can go. Bud, do you want to take Leopard with you? Oh, good boy. Go on then. You take Leopard with you. Okay. The man has spoken. He's selected. We are going to be reading The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center, which makes me very excited. I think it's The Bodyguard, isn't it, by Catherine Center that I also really want to read. And I didn't know whether I should read that one first, but I don't feel like anybody has massively commented and said you have to read The Bodyguard first. So I'm pretty sure they're standalone interconnected. Oh no, we're back with Leopard. Okay, fine. You want Leopard to hang out in here? Yeah, he just wants to hang out with me. He just wants to be with me. I'll stand here because let's be honest, you want to see Barley more than you want to see me. Oh yes, I remember this one. Okay, so Emma has the chance to rewrite a screenplay with her hero, Charlie Yates, and it's a rom-com, which is literally Emma's dream come true. So she is a screenwriter, and I'm guessing that Charlie is as well. He's a Hollywood legend, but he is kind of a jerk. He's written the worst rom-com that Emma's ever read. He doesn't believe in love at all, so she needs to try and help Charlie write the perfect rom-com. And in order to do that, she needs to make him understand true romance, but the more she tries to teach him about love, the more real it all starts to seem. Cute! Okay, right, I am going to stop yapping officially because I am going to try and get an entire book read in a day. Me and Barley have a big day ahead. Maybe we'll audiobook this and take him out for a walk. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. Yesterday was a very successful book reading day. I managed to finish both The Let Them Theory and The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. I don't necessarily have loads to say about The Let Them Theory. I'm not really sure what to rate it. I think I'm probably going to give it maybe 3 stars, something like that. I didn't really want to give it less than that because it feels harsh. It's not like the book isn't good. I think with nonfiction, once I've got the gist, I've kind of got the gist. And if I'm being really honest with myself, I think in a way I had the gist of this before I even started it or going into it. I kind of knew where we were going to go. I do really like that it's split into lots of different sections. And I think it is a really helpful one. I think it's one of those books. I think nonfiction, maybe what I'm trying to say is I think nonfiction, you need to read when you need that particular advice. I think if I picked this up during a time, which definitely happens to me, when I find myself like bogged down with other people's emotions or feeling overwhelmed by other people's opinions of me or feeling upset about, there's all types of situations in life where you just have to let other people do what they're going to do and not let it bother you. And I think if I read it during a time when I was struggling with that, I think this book would be really good. And I do like the fact that it's split up in sections, so I can go back and read any particular bits that I want to read, when I need it. There's bits in there about stress management, there's bits in there about adult friendship. Like, it does cover lots of different topics. And so I think it's really nice to be able to dip in and read those sections when I feel like I need a little bit of a pep talk and I need a little bit of advice. So overall, like, a good book. I'm not really a non-fiction girly. I come for the story, and there isn't really much of a story in this, but it is helpful. I'm glad I read it. I'll give it 3 stars just because I don't know what else. It feels harsh to give it anything less, but it's not like I enjoyed it necessarily in like a You know what I mean? I'm going to stop talking about it now. Okay, so that was Let Them. And then we blitzed all of the rom-commers by Catherine Center. And I don't really know what to say about this one either, to be honest. It was sweet. It was funny, a little bit funny. It was, Barley chose correctly. It was exactly what we thought. He knew it would be good for me. It was really nothing stressful happened in it. It was very lighthearted. It was not high stakes. There were some things about it that did annoy me. Emma and Charlie have to screenwrite this movie together, right? Like, that's the plot. They have to write a rom-com movie together. And Charlie is like a huge star and is like famous in Hollywood, and he's like a phenomenal Hollywood writer, and he's very famous. And Emma is kind of a nobody, and nothing she's ever written has actually been produced. And she is like an unbelievable fan of Charlie. Well, Charlie Yates, because she says, oh my God, it's Charlie Yates, Charlie Yates, Charlie Yates, like so many times at the beginning. And I do think the fangirling at the start was just like a bit too aggressive and was just like a little bit icky. Like, I think she could have really admired his work and been a fan of his without the fangirling like needing to go as hard as it did, because it just became a bit like icky. And then she was fangirling so hard and had so many amazing things to say about like the movies that he's written and how much he inspires her and like all this gushy stuff. And like, he's just kind of like a total asshole. I mean, I did actually find him endearing towards the end. I don't really know what that says about me, because honestly, he was like not a very good male main character, in my opinion. He was very grumpy. Their romance was sweet. I don't know. The more I'm reflecting on it, it was sweet. I am happy for them, I guess. It didn't really make me feel loads, this book. I definitely didn't tear up. I didn't laugh out loud at any point, but I did enjoy it. It did feel a little bit Emily Henry-esque, actually, at some points. It did feel quite beach read-y. Maybe that's just because they're both writers and they're like close proximity, so maybe that's why. But it did feel a little bit Emily Henry. There's definitely no spice if you want a spice-free romance. It was sweet. It definitely feels like it's one of those books that's quite polarizing. Some people love it and it's like 5 stars and like ultimate swoon, and some people hated it. I think I'm just somewhere in the middle. I had a nice time. I enjoyed it. It was very wholesome, but I don't know. I didn't really feel like I was properly taken on a romance journey. There wasn't enough moments where I felt like they were falling in love. And maybe that's because it's only single point of view, so I didn't really get to see his perspective. I think that could have added quite a lot to this if I did get to see Charlie's perspective, because it was all from her side and she kind of like was always obsessed with him. So there wasn't really any kind of like falling in love from her point of view, or like those little moments where the male main character or the female main character like start to shift their perception of the other person. Those were all the bits, like those are the crumbs that you eat up. And I'm not really sure there were many of those in here. I don't know, a bit confused by it. I'm going to give it 3.5. I could even give it 3.75. I don't know. I'm being so indecisive today. I'll give it 3.5 for now. I would recommend it. It's really hard because sometimes I think about some of like the spicy, slightly more like trashy sports romances that I read that I then give 3.5 to. And then I'm also going to give this 3.5. And I'm like, this probably does deserve more than those books, like to be rated higher than those books. But then those ones maybe actually did have stuff to, I don't know. I'm going to give this 3.5 and stop yapping, because clearly I'm not being very successful at being decisive in reviewing books today. So all in all, that if I can hold everything, I need to get one of those mics that like goes on the top of my camera. I'm not going to be holding this little microphone in every single one of my videos forever, I promise. I'm investing bit by bit in the tech that's going to improve the channel and make it good. And I need one of those like shotgun mics. Anyway, so that concludes all of the books that we're reading for today's video. We were very successful. We obviously did not read all 4 in 48 hours. We read 3 books in 48 hours. And I will put the page total of all of the pages that I read in 48 hours on the screen as well. I'm very proud of that. They were a very book heavy couple of days. I do not normally read 3 books in 48 hours at all, but I've had such a good time. I so highly recommend When the Moon Hatched out of all of these 4. If I have to encourage you to pick up one book of all of these, please pick up When the Moon Hatched and let me know what you thought. After that, I would then say pick up Say You'll Remember Me. I found it completely devastating, and I don't know if I'm the only one, because like I said, I haven't seen anyone else talk about how sad it was, but I just thought it was so sad. And I still can't stop thinking about how much Xavier deserves just like more, and just like a lot of joy in his life that I still feel like is missing. And then the rom-commerce was very sweet. Basically, A really good selection of books. Very happy with this. Zero duds, I would say. They were all varying levels of great and lovely. So that's officially enough from me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having such a lovely week. Please do like and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Let me know what books you're reading at the moment, what books you want me to read next. We need to start getting through our May TBR, which I'm so pumped for. Maybe that's the reading vlog we'll start next. I don't know. But thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.